Good morning, students. Let's continue with our chapter number 4, Fiber to Fabric. And today we are going to discuss about fibers and their types. Firstly, the question arises, from where do we get fibers? Fibers are obtained from natural sources or man-made sources. Natural sources like plants or animals, man-made sources like chemicals which are used to produce man-made material, man-made fibers. Let's read about it. All clothes are made up of long, strong, thread-like materials called yarn. Yarn is made up of thinner strands called fibers. Fibers can be categorized as shown in flowchart below. So it's very much clear written in your book that fabrics are made up of yarn. Yarn means thread, and all yarns are made up of fibers. Further, fibers are obtained from natural sources or artificially they are produced, like natural fibers and synthetic fibers. Natural fibers means plant fibers and animal fibers, the fibers which are obtained from plants and the fibers which are obtained from animals. Now, synthetic fibers are produced with the help of chemicals, with the efforts of man. Let's move to activity number 2. Take a piece of cloth and gently pull out a loose thread from one end as shown in figure A. Place the yarn on a flat surface like tabletop. Press its one end with your thumb and scratch its other end along its length with your nail. The yarn will split into its strands called fibers. So firstly, you have to take out a thread from a cloth, place it on a flat surface, hold the one end of the thread with your thumb and another end you have to scratch with your nail. In C part, you will see that after scratching a yarn, it will split into its strands called fibers. This slide is all about activity 2. A person is pulling out the yarn. This is called yarn. A person is pulling out the yarn, gently pulling out the yarn, and later on after scratching, fibers can be seen out of it. So these hair-like threads are called fibers. Now let's discuss about the types of fibers. Natural fibers, the fibers which are obtained from plants and animals, are called natural fibers. Under natural fibers can be obtained from plants and animals. Firstly, cotton, jute, coir are obtained from plants, so they are plant fibers. Firstly, we will discuss about plant fibers only. Let's discuss natural fibers. The fibers obtained from natural sources are called natural fibers. These fibers can further be classified into plant fibers and animal fibers. The fibers that are obtained from plants are called plant fibers. Flax, hemp, jute, cotton, rami are the examples of fibers obtained from plants. Plant fibers are more extensively used than animal fibers. Means these are the fibers like hemp, cotton, jute, rami. These are the plant fibers which are obtained from plants, and plant fibers are more in trend as compared to animal fibers. Now let's discuss about animal fibers. Wool and silk we get from animals. Fibers like wool and silk are obtained from animals are called animal fibers. Wool is obtained from the fleece of sheep, goat, rabbit and yak. Cashmere is a fiber obtained from cashmere goat. Silk fiber is obtained from cocoon of silkworm. Silk fiber is one of the strongest natural fiber. So the fibers which are obtained from animals are called animal fibers like wool and silk. Wool is obtained from goat, rabbit, yak. You can also add one more example here, that is camel. Camel is also a wool giving animal. And silk is obtained from cocoon of silkworm. So here you might be thinking that what is cocoon? So let's discuss about it also. This is a life cycle of silk moth, and cocoon is one of the stage in the life cycle of silk moth. Let's discuss about the life cycle also. Earlier the eggs are laid by female silk moth, and then after hatching, after the caterpillar hatches out of the egg, this is egg, and after hatching a caterpillar comes out, they are given mulberry leaves to eat. and after eating mulberry leaves they grow bigger and changes into larva. This larva changes into pupa after covering its body with a silk thread. This larva starts covering its body with a silk thread, with a pure white silk thread, and internally the larva changes into pupa, and its outer view seems like this. At this stage only, people take cocoon and unwind the silk thread from the cocoon by boiling them. Otherwise, otherwise the cocoon is left for further growth. Pupa changes into moth. Internally, it changes into a moth. You can see a moth is coming out of it, starting from the larva to pupa, and pupa changes into moth. And when adult moth mate with each other, again the female moth lays some eggs, and again the life cycle repeats. So basically cocoon is one of the stage. This is cocoon, and cocoon is one of the stage in the life cycle of silkworm. At this stage only people unwind the silk thread from the cocoon by boiling them in hot water. Now let's discuss about synthetic fibers. The fibers which are synthesized in industry from simple chemicals obtained from petroleum are called synthetic fibers. Means which are produced in industries or factories with the help of chemicals in an artificial method are called synthetic fibers. Example: polyester, nylon and acrylic. These are synthetic fibers. So let's discuss about synthetic fibers. Let's read it. The fibers made in factories from chemicals are called synthetic or man-made fibers. They are also called artificial fibers. Nylon, polyester and acrylic are few of the examples of synthetic fibers. The fibers which are made by man in an artificial method, by using some chemicals, they are called synthetic fibers. Very often natural fibers are mixed with synthetic fibers to obtain the fibers with improved qualities. For example, terracotta is a mixture of terylene and cotton. Terrywool is a blend of terylene and wool. But now these days, to improve the quality of the fiber, synthetic fibers are started blending with cotton fibers. So here terylene, they have given an example. An example is written in your book, that is terracotta. Terylene is a synthetic fiber and cotton is a natural fiber. After blending both, we have got terracotta, and it has the characteristics of both synthetic fiber and natural fiber. The next is terrywool. Again, it is a mixture of terylene and wool. Next is nylon. Nylon is a waterproof fabric. Raincoats and umbrellas are often made up of coated nylon. Due to the waterproof property of this fabric, water slides over raincoats and umbrellas, preventing us from getting wet. So nylon is the another, this is nylon, and nylon is the another synthetic fabric which is waterproof, and due to its waterproof characteristic, we use it in making umbrellas and raincoats and rain boots, because they never allow the water to gather over it. The water easily slips from it, easily slides from it, and do not gather over it, and it prevent us from getting wet.